Turning overseas now, US President Joe Biden has arrived in Brussels ahead of crucial talks on the war in Ukraine. He'll participate in NATO, G7 and EU summits tomorrow, where discussions will focus on responding to Russian aggression, as well as limiting Europe's reliance on Russian energy sources. Joining us live now from Brussels is CNN's international diplomatic editor, Nick Robertson. Nick, we appreciate your time. What do we know about NATO's plans to add forces on its eastern flank, and how is Russia expected to react to the move?
Yeah, NATO is going to talk about ensuring that it's got enough defensive posture on the eastern flank, and that means it's going to be putting some more troops along the border. It currently has, in a temporary phase, more than doubled the number of troops on its eastern flank, and it's going to look to the future, and it appears as if they're going to decide to keep those numbers at that high level. They'll be looking at the basing of the troops there. They'll be looking at what sort of weapons systems that they should have along the border. Also, with the EU talking about sanctions, the United States saying it's going to sanction all 351 Duma members in Russia and look at plugging holes in other sanctions, see what workarounds Russia is trying to employ to get around existing sanctions, and also look to see where they can put more sanctions in place on Russia. And of course, another big part of the discussion is how can the G7, NATO, the EU, all these allies and partners find ways to make sure that Ukraine has enough defensive weapon systems to hold off Russia's attacks and even push Russia back, as we've heard from the Pentagon today, indicating that they believe, and the British military as well, indicating they believe that in some places the Ukrainians are even beginning to push Russian forces away from the eastern side of Kyiv. So these are going to be the primary discussions, but it's about unity and it's about supporting Ukraine and about defending NATO.